Yes, I see it.
All right, meeting's now streaming live on YouTube. Hello, everyone. Would you want to take us
Hello,
in,
hello.
Kat?
Yeah, I see it.
We've got quite the menagerie today. Hi. Meeting's now streaming live on YouTube. Hello, everyone. All right, I gotta turn that off. You want to take us in, Kat?
Yeah, I see it.
We've got quite the menagerie today.
Let me see. I gotta mute this. There you go. I muted it.
Oh, that was yours that
Aha.
was making the noise? Oh, that was mine.
Yeah, it was mine. Yeah, it was my fault.
No, no worries. But they popped up on their own. But it's good to have one open so we can see the chat log and stuff.
Exactly. That's the whole purpose of me doing that.
Are you going to handle the chat today?
I guess so. I'm sure
Hooray!
Matt's gonna look at it.
Okay.
Yeah, I always look at it too. So
Is there a live chat though? I'm actually not seeing a live chat.
there is a chat option, but nobody has said anything yet.
Oh, I'm not seeing it for some reason. Yeah, that's okay.
I love
Well,
how
Matt, I
every meeting
guess
starts off like it's the first time we've ever used Zoom.
it also says private. No, that's so
What?
weird.
Oh,
Let me
Let's
refresh it.
see.
okay.
Oh, I see it now. It's better now.
Yeah, I
All right.
welcomed
Yeah, I
everybody.
guess we're good to go. Hey, everybody. We got Tracker, we got the great Matt Speed, and got Meow here. So welcome.
Welcome.
Yeah, and we already have the great Tesla truck already had to hit the chart open here. So you guys want to go for it and take it from there?
Sure. Let's see. Where is my? All right. Can you see me wiggling the screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. Hi everybody. So this is the Tesla tracker, and let me tell you, today I started off with a live stream about how I basically went on a tirade about how I was just like I was so frustrated last Friday, and because I've been doing this thing where, I really thought that price was going to go up and down and up and down, and then up and down again. And I just had to be me. And, this morning I said, you know what? I'm just going to be me. The only way I can do this is just if I tell you what I'm thinking. And this morning I was thinking that it was still going to stop around 255-ish and then go down to about 150-ish maybe. And then I finished my show about 11, and then like 11:03, Tesla priced crossed the 61.8 fib here on this line. Let me make these bigger so everyone can see them. And let me turn this off. The visible range volume profiles. All right, so right here, this 61.8% fib. Well, I had several different fibs on my chart for various moves up and down and retracements and all that. But as soon as I saw it cross this line, 61.8, I'm like, well, that's it. I just have to capitulate now. In linear, not log scale. Uh, I kind of capitulated, said, all right, well, it's not going down from here. Once it got, so this is a Fibonacci extension off of the 101.81 low to the 299.29 high. If I click this, you can see the points to the 299.29 high, and then back down to the 138.80 low. So this is the wave start, one, two, and then this is the beginning of wave three, wave one, and two. And the one we're actually looking at is this smaller black one here. And once across the 61.8, oh, it's not going to go back from there. It's going to gravitate right to the 76.4. So after I went on this whole tirade about how I had to be me and I'm still calling for lower, I then immediately changed my mind and didn't feel bad about it because like this was convincing to me. Once it passes this point, there's no hope of it going. And even like just a toe over, kind of what we see, it really should gravitate for the 76.4% fib extension now. So my new target is 289.67, and I think I posted, yes, this chart right here. And if you notice, this is it's like one of those songs that has one artist featuring another artist. This is actually Matsby's Gann chart featuring my Fibonacci pinball superimposed on top.
Fusion, that's what we call it,
Yeah,
fusion.
yeah, fusion. So this is his linear chart. This is all his old linear chart. I don't know if he made a new linear chart. He has a nice new um, logarithmic chart where he's got one of these Gann lines that go right through all this price action. But I think this one describes the resistance up here pretty well. So you can see how we're kind of heading right for this this Gann right here at 289.68, and maybe it even crosses up over a little bit. And then after a 76.4 extension, I don't know if it'll come down to 38.2, but just going back to basics, when you have this wave start 1, 2, then the minor one goes to either 61.8 or 76.4. If it goes to 76.4, then it comes to 38.2. It could do something where it does like a trickster fib and comes to the 50% and then goes up to the 150% or 161.8. But for now, I'm just going to keep it simple. So from 289.68, I'm calling for 214.24 for the wave 2. And then there'll be a, let's see, oh, I'm missing my little tools here. And hang on 1 second, just need to, oh no, like floating media controls. I'm fighting with the Zoom controls here. Right here, I just kind of skip over the 3, 4, but in here between 2 and 3, this is like the wave sub 3 and the wave sub 4, and this is wave 5 of 3. So this is all of 3 when you get to 411.72. And again, his Matsby's Gann charts are just amazing for price and time. My stuff is only good for price and not time, so I can't tell you if we'll get to this by, this is August 2025 for 11.72. But I mean, you can see this stuff gets pretty tight. This could actually just keep, we could end up hitting, Matthew's got 487 up here on July 1st of 2025, maybe by the end of 25. Like if we just shoot straight up, this is September. I'll let Matthew talk about his chart. But there's my prices: 411.72 for the wave 3 top, a wave 4 pullback to 336.28, and then finally wave 5 melt on up to 609.20. And this is my new chart. This is what I'm at peace with it, even after all my gnashing of teeth last Friday and being upset about it and missing all the fun on Saturday.
There's no reason to get upset over something. I mean, that's the thing like about TA is like it's not really like deterministic. I think it's more trying to find out like the probabilities of where the market psychology is going to go when it comes to elite wave, right? Like there are different scenarios, and I think you're basically showing what is a probable scenario, but it doesn't have to work out, you know.
Yep. So this is just me back to basics, and let's talk about. I know you guys want to pull up your awesome Ichimoku analysis. So try busting on in. If that doesn't work, I'll just relinquish my screen sharing.
You want to go, Kat, or
let's have you go, Matt. Yeah, I mean,
sure.
I want to see how your interpretation of your linear and things like that too.
Yeah. So there I am. But yeah, I just want to cover my post real quick. My last post on X, just saying that it keeps on writing the daily Bollinger Band
Oh,
as support basically. And it did open up below the past couple of days, but it just ended up closing above the blue line there. So that's like basically the 9th day in a row. Like even if you include that red candle there too. So yeah, I mean the momentum's still pretty strong, and I have the Fibonacci pulled up there too, the 50%. Like technically it's not a fib level, but it is like a very important level, you know. Like it's not an official ratio, I guess, but people still use it. And this is 258.15. We closed above it, But what I'm really looking for still is that 265.13 right here, just a weekly close above that for an official higher high for week. I'll put it on the weekly chart here.
So you're not counting the wick, huh?
Never count the wicks. No.
Okay.
Like, yeah, technically it wicked, what,
Yeah.
265, 61. Yeah, just because it could be just like a long wick and then close above, then it's still
Yeah.
not a higher high close for market structure. But if this week does close above that 265.13 on Friday at 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern time, then that'll be an official change of market character. And that would be a bullish chart, like officially, right? So that'll be really interesting to see because it hasn't been a bullish chart since the very top right here,
Oh
since
man.
2021. So we'll see what happens, but like this 50% fib level could be the new support if it just continues higher, but it is getting quite extended from the weekly Bollinger Band right there, which is currently at like 237. So that could come back down still to the 240s to high 230s and maybe bounce off there, but it is getting quite extended. It's done it before a little bit right here in the past, right here back in June of 2023, but it quickly got under the cloud after that. So we'll see if the momentum can continue. It is reaching some resistance level right here. But let me just switch to that Gann chart that Tracker had, the linear one. When you look here, there is still more room to run with this
Yeah.
weekly candle or the future weekly candles to run up to the
Yeah.
280s up here.
Yeah.
So we can see probably continuation higher, but it also depends on when we put on the monthly chart here. It depends on this Ichimoku cloud too, because we can see that the top of this cloud is reaching like around 270, but if you go a couple months into the future, it's matching with the arc. So it could wait until like October or November to get to these levels. So we could maybe see some kind of retrace too. So that's what I think it's maybe hinting towards. So maybe we won't get that higher high weekly close this week, but we'll see. It is possible to get extended above it a little bit and then come back down. So we'll see what happens. But
You can even
essentially,
exit the
this
cloud to the
is,
top and then set back down on top of the
yeah,
cloud.
yeah, I mean, it's done it many times before where, or other charts as well, where they break through the cloud, but then the next month they just collapse back down too. So
Yeah.
anything is possible. But I think the biggest thing for me that I'm watching for is a change of market structure from a
Yeah.
bearish chart to a bullish chart. Because once it becomes a bullish chart, then more and more of like the whales will start accumulating and this thing will just push higher and higher. And we'll see my last chart here that I'll pull up is this one on log scale. And ultimately, I think this will become a magnet for price, the 290 level, and maybe probably even wick up to the 300s. And that will be probably a big resistance because you can just look at that line directly across. And you can see from the 290 all the way up to maybe 313, 315 or so will be some resistance. So that would be the next target. And if we don't get any pullback, I think definitely there'll be a pullback in this 300 zone.
Yeah, it could even like not even have to go like straight to the 290. Like once it's starting to go over the 260.85. I mean, just towed over today. They could spend a bunch of
Yeah,
time hanging around before it reaches that 290 level.
yeah. But yeah, all signs point to this has a lot of momentum, but the most important thing is this weekly close to flip this chart to a bullish chart. So I'm excited for that. So let's see if this will be the week.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think you have to be careful to be too bearish, because right now the momentum is really still up. Like it looks like it's decelerating a little bit, perhaps, but it's only 2 days into the
Yeah.
week. But like the candle can keep going. Like it can decelerate, but it can still really slowly stop up to like the 290, 280s. So it's entirely
Yeah, I
possible.
mean,
Yeah.
like this could happen too. We could wick up to like the 270s, 280s this week, but then on
Yeah.
Friday it just closes back below. Then there's like a long wick up there, and then it's not technically a bullish chart, and then it could come back down and finally retest those levels. So, I mean, the people that are chasing the green candles, that happens to them a lot. They're like, oh, it's just gonna keep going, but
Yeah.
then it just collapses on them. Then they're trapped, and then the
Yeah.
whales make them sell, and then they buy back cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah, happens all the time.
Yep. Oldest story in the book.
Yep.
Yep.
I can
All right,
share
you want
mine
to
real
share
quick.
yours?
Yeah, I can share
Yeah.
mine real quick.
All right, we can see you.
All right. Yeah. So the whole idea is I normally I hate like just keep drawing lines because all the lines they draw like it doesn't really mean anything. I do think that a lot of people are watching this line for a very long time. Like this basically this bear market trend line that's been going on for quite some time. Looks like we're really pretty much convincingly broken it, even though it has like four very very nice touches to it, right? So we've broken about for that, and I'm not sure whether or not this trend line like it could eventually could mean something because a lot of people are watching it. But I'm not sure if this trend line over here really matches this one. I actually think that the current trend line, I'm going to show you like what I'm thinking right now. I actually think that this current trend line over here might make more sense compared to what's happening over there, from the last cycle. The reason why I say that is because if you pull out like a lot of the indicators, let's say we put up the Bollinger Support Band, you can see a lot of similarities where we're at right now, as opposed to previous cycle before it just went crazy, you know. It's a very, very similar morphology, very similar market structure.
Mhm.
And it just looks like it wants to break higher until it eventually find a hard resistance, which for this one over here was this, long line resistance over here finally got rejected over there. But as it got rejected, it only came down a little bit, and it just couldn't hold it
Stuck
anymore. It
between the
just kept going.
61.8 and the 76.4.
Yeah, I mean, and it just couldn't hold. It just went down a little bit, maybe touched a little bit of like like a shallow fit level, and just went like parabolic, right? So over here, I can totally see a scenario where, and I'm going to turn off the bonus support band. I can totally see a scenario where it could potentially hit this trend line up here, and it got rejected, came back down and go higher. You know, I mean, maybe not that high, but like maybe somewhere like in the 400 to retest like the all-time high, or maybe something like this. That's what it looks like because there's a very, very similar morphology between here and here. It just looks like it has enough juice as a momentum to try to push up a little bit higher. And it looks like it wants to probably end up getting rejected. It has to get rejected at some point just because you're saying that, Matt is showing that the Bollinger Band is like way outside, right? I mean, I can totally see that it can potentially keep going, but eventually it's going to get rejected. Look over here, like what happened during this cycle, right? You actually have a few candles that are way outside upper Bollinger Band. Eventually, you hit the resistance over here, and then you came back down to test some fib level before you bounce back up, right? So I think there's entirely a possibility where we can have having like a few candles that are closing above the weekly Bollinger Band, and it got rejected over here, and then came back down, maybe retest either the upper Bollinger Band as it raises, or it can backtest this bear market trend line over here, find support, and then just bounce from there. It looks like it's that impulsive to me. The other thing to look at is obviously I have the MCDX here. If you're a Danny fan, there are some systems out there that are very similar to what Danny might have, although his stuff is not really his stuff is proprietary, right? But you do have some like um something by like Turtle Trader. This is basically like an EMA ribbon. It's by the 20 and 50 week EMA. The 20 is over 50, then it's green. If the 20 is under 50, then it's red, right? So you do have these like buy and sell signal. This system is actually very similar to Danny, although the buy sell signal are different. You just have like a buy signal over here, and it's also kind of based on calculation in terms of whales. You see a very, very similar morphology over here in terms of whales entering. There's nobody, but you have retail kind of leaving. And next thing you know, whales just came in, bam. Like same thing's happening over here. You have like whales just kind of going sideways, but retail's leaving, leaving, leaving. Next thing you know, bam. Like I think there's a lot of similarities between where we are right now versus over here before this big giant parabolic move up. And
Totally see it.
you also similarly have a buy signal over here too, which again, you could be chasing green candles, and I hate doing that. That's why I was buying like underneath 200. But now that like things have gone up this far, like I might look for maybe buying my final shares if it came back, get rejected if it came back and like to like the 250, 240 range potentially before, going up higher. I might end up, scaling there a little bit more. And if it leaves me, it leaves me. I'm not going to chase it. So that's pretty much all I have to say. I think like Matt's already shown the Ichimoku Cloud. I don't really have anything else on Tesla, so that's it for me.
I think I'd just say that after this long period of consolidation where a lot of
Yeah.
people got used to selling covered calls
Yeah.
because it was kind of easy money,
Yeah.
it's
They're gonna get burned
don't
so
do it
bad if
anymore.
something like that happened.
Don't. I've already
Well,
had
they already did, yeah.
Yeah, I've had
Yeah,
lots of my followers tell me that
yeah,
they held Tesla for 70% drawdown, and
yeah.
then they lost their shares because they sold some covered calls, just like
Yeah.
they've been doing.
You're gonna lose shares here if you end up
Yeah,
selling cover calls. I mean, that's the thing. Like they get you so jaded about Tesla, and then everybody, they that's what I'm saying. I think is kind of working the opposite way. This is like a falling knife, but on the other side.
right.
Like you don't know when the falling knife's gonna end. You don't know where the bottom's gonna be, and this is like the reverse of it. You just don't know. I want to say that it ends right here around like maybe like the mid 280s, and then it could come back down, back test like the 240 range before going higher. I want to say that, but it's a falling knife, but on the reverse. So yeah,
Yeah, totally.
My
it's
real life
tough,
cat is
man.
trying to be a star here. Background.
Yeah. All right. You guys want to talk about perhaps Palantir? A lot of people are excited about it.
Sure, sure, sure. I've
Yeah.
got a volunteer chart.
Tracker, you'd be the leader as always, and put up
Here
your
we
Palantir
go.
chart. See what you
I don't
got.
mind busting in with my stuff. Um, since I
Yeah, Bitcoin's doing okay, but I know we don't talk a little bit about that. But I think Matt's
I talk about that
thinking
too.
getting some rejection and go lower potentially. But yeah,
I
All
mean,
right, so
it depends.
you
Like,
guys have
yeah,
seen this chart
potentially.
the last few meetings that we've done, Palantir. Um, I definitely have like a larger degree target up to 3679,
I like it.
but right now, well, it really looks like it has kind of broken out here. I was thinking that maybe it would do this tracker triangle thing here and fall back down to this range one last time. Um, it's it's kind of balking a little bit, but maybe it's just trying to build up enough momentum to get over this 100% fib of 2790. So I guess that's what's kind it's doing right now. It's just trying to maybe if I put on Bollinger Bands too, I don't know. It maybe just slowing down for that. There's a candle wick that went over a 4 hour Bollinger Band and that kind of hung out for a minute. So let's just see what happens. If it can get over this 2790, then maybe it doesn't pull back and it just goes straight on up to 3679. And I'll go ahead and I'll pull up my 1 day chart and I'll show you all the rest of the numbers. Here's could be a trick. Fine, fast, you're not a trick. You are here. All right, so 3679 next, then 3130. These are all just pulled off of I got to turn the Bollinger off now. So these are off of this 576 low to this 2035-ish high, and then the wave 2 starts right here at 1352. And so then the 100% extension is 2790. The sub 2 we already hit at actually no, this is what was interesting about it. It instead of stopping at 764 and going back to 382, we got more than the 764, got to the 100%, and then only tested back a toe over the 50% retracement here. So just 50% right there. So if it can get over this 100% hump, then that's why instead of going to the 1382, I got it going to the 1618 for 3679. And then a pullback, maybe only there's got to be has to be a fib distance between the wave 1 top and the wave 4 bottom. So I've got that here between the 100% and the 1236. So from 3130, we go up to the 2618, 5117. And that's my Palantir price targets.
How strong do you feel about the triangle working out? That is going to go down to like the low 20s.
I felt a lot stronger about it before
Yeah.
it got higher than the beginning of the triangle here. This
Yeah.
is 2739. It's actually seems to be what we closed at right in here. 27. I'm sorry, 2675 was the high,
Hmm.
and today we're at 2739. Now, kind of, it should have. If it was near the triangle tracker thing, it should have
Hmm.
crossed back down to one of these two trend lines at least
Yeah.
by now. It seems like it's a little too far too fast. I'll leave
Yeah.
this up just for a little bit longer. Once it gets over the 100%, I'll just delete all this mess.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's my Palantir.
Are you still
I,
waiting
We got
out?
him.
oh, go ahead.
Are you still waiting out to buy at the lower 20s?
Well, no, I guess not.
Okay.
Guess not. I haven't bought yet, but maybe tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, it's tough.
After I change my tune on Tesla, maybe I can change my tune on Palantir as well.
Yeah. Matt, you want to go?
Hit the stop share button. So now we
Yeah.
can see our glorious avatar.
Oh no, we gotta make you laugh. There's a request because they love your laugh. It should be monetized.
Okay, done.
Not you, cat tracker.
Oh, tracker.
There's my doggy shoulder laugh.
Oh god.
Uh,
There we go.
Fun with
So
avatars.
this is my la linear scale. Yes, this is the linear scale. So yeah, it's kind of similar to what Tesla's doing, how it's riding the top Bollinger Band up, and it's looking like it could be some kind of support until it gets back inside of it. So we'll see, but it's almost getting to that angle here on linear scale after it broke above these arcs here. So essentially, I believe this new floor down here of the arc around 24.80 or $25 will be the new support in the future. And if we let's see, let's take that off. Yeah, if we put on the Ichimoku here, we can see that the conversion line is almost matching up with that top of the arc as well. So I believe if price ever were to come down there, it would be a great opportunity, but I'm not sure if it will since there is a lot of momentum. Sure, today it like opened up pretty high and then closed a little bit weak, but it's still the beginning of the week, right? Things
Mhm.
could be bought back up and then
Yeah.
continue higher and finally maybe touch the top of the angle here, which sits around like 28.50 or so. But what I'm really looking at is like this log scale chart here. And I have the fibs on there as well from the previous all-time high up here. And we can see that that also sits around $25, the 7-1 for a retrace, right? So there's lots of confluence with the conversion line, my linear scale, my log scale line sits around like 24.50, 24.60, and this 7-1 fib, which is going to be probably support in the future if price goes down there. But I still think price is going to gravitate to the 786 first, around 29.14, and then possibly that would get rejected to maybe come back down to finally reach those levels, possibly, right? So I think price likes to gravitate to the path of least resistance, and that's probably right now towards the 786. That's what I'm thinking. And maybe that could touch this week or next week, right? Because next week's candle would meet that angle and the 786 perfectly, right? So that could be a confluence right there for next week to get to that $29 level. And then ultimately, maybe the 35.64 level will be right up here where the arc meets in September of 2024.
I do want to say though, Palantir is a very weird stock, because every single time it runs up a lot, it just keeps on breaking like all of these angles. It pricked like just earlier in the year it had this big giant green candle. It just broke that arc like it's not even there. It's like,
Yeah.
whenever I
Well,
don't want to be like
that's
too
exactly
bull.
what
Yeah.
that's what Tesla did too. It broke all that resistance as well.
Right. I mean, I don't want to be like too bullish at resistance, but like there's a tendency
Yeah.
since it's a bull trend, and this is also a stock that had gone really sideways for a very long time. So whenever it breaks it, could end up like I don't know, I'm not sure. Like even the
Yeah.
angle looks like we already back tested it once after it broke down. So there's a potentially it might break through too, who knows.
But yeah, like that's why I have basically the fibs on there because it's been
Yeah.
respecting the fibs a lot more than the angles and stuff, just
Yeah.
because Look at that 618. It was perfect resistance and perfect support. And then the 7-1, sure, there was 1 week that went above it, but it was perfect resistance. And now it should be perfect support again, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it's going to hit the 786 before it goes back to the 7-1. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So
I've got
like
a
29
question.
before 2025.
Can
Yeah.
you go into your fibs and just turn on a 764 fib?
Tracker
Yeah, there
says
you
turn
go.
it on.
Well, you
764.
might already have one or just add one. Yeah.
I don't think so.
0.764.
You're making stuff up
Take a
now. No,
look.
just
Precisely 0.764.
yeah, it is precisely there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it might even be just a little bit. I thought maybe that wick in March might be the top of that wick, but I see that wick didn't actually quite touch it.
Yeah, 2787.
I
Yeah,
was hoping it would be just a
that
little below.
is there. But yeah, I still think 29 happens before 25. That's what I'm going to stick to. And I think it could happen by next week.
That's not unreasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll share mine.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, keep things rolling. Let me know if you can see mine.
Yep, I can see it. We can see it.
Yeah, monthly chart. I mean, this is basically I'm not doing linear fib. I'm doing like sorry, I'm not doing lock fib. I'm doing linear fib. Actually, it also worked out pretty well. Especially over the last few months, it's just been basically bouncing between the 0.382 and 0.5. And it looks like we're really like truly breaking above. We also have I keep talking about how there's like a rising three, big giant green candle and three bearish candle trying to break down, but not able to really, get down that much further. And next thing you know, bulls sniffed it out and the whales just came in and like just gobbled it all up. And right now the like NCDX plus is like really, really red. There's not really any like retail momentum at all. The whales are really coming in. And you also just look at the monthly Ichimoku, like it's just been playing out pretty perfectly in terms of what it's doing. It's just basically using the conversion line to flip different resistance and just drag it into support. And it's the tank and the conversion line is going higher, price is going higher, dragging along with it, and it just keeps on using it as support. Like this is really bull market behavior. I don't know what else there's to say about it. And because of the consolidation here, because those poor bears were really able to do anything on low volume. Like it doesn't even take that much volume in June for it to push like to reverse 3 months of candles. So bears are really weak. Bulls are there, whales are there. You have the bullish cross. This is maybe like early to mid bull market behavior. And right now, if you're talking about like some of the potential resistance, I think right now I would say like once we break above maybe I want to say maybe like 27, somewhere around there. Like I think we're right at like a volume shelf right around there. Sorry. Yeah, I think we're like right around a volume shelf right around there. So I think we're getting rejected by some of the volume shelves up here, but eventually the target's going to be like around 30, which is going to be pretty close to where you guys are thinking. But I don't think it ends there, completely honestly. I don't think there's much volume up above. So 25 is going to be pretty strong, support. Even all the way if it breaks up higher, like 26, 27 is going to be pretty good support. I really have a hard time seeing all the way down, but going all the way back down to like 21, 22, unless if like earnings or unless if there's some like pretty drastic thing that happened. It looks like it just wants to go higher for now. Um, so that's kind of what I'm seeing. You also look at a weekly. I'm gonna get the volume shelf up here. You look at a weekly, look at a Bollinger Band. It start to expand pretty strongly after a very, very nice squeeze, right? Like when I was talking about like a few weeks ago, how it was squeezing, how big move was going to come, and it came. And right now it's maybe a little bit over the upward Bollinger Band, but it looks like it wants to continue to expand. So I think it's probably going to end up keep going higher, maybe to like 30 before it starts to like cool off. And as far as how far down it goes to back test is really anybody's guess. Um, yeah, but once it does something like this, it just likes to break resistance. So I'm not sure whether or not the arc would necessarily be like strong resistance. We'll see. I don't have much else to say about it because right now it's just things are just getting really boring for me actually. So I mean I just been buying and like now I'm probably just gonna stop buying. If
Yeah,
it goes back
making
down,
this money, making
yeah.
money is so boring. I know.
Yeah, like it's like if things work out, it's like okay, so what now? Like I don't know what else to do. Like let's look for the next thing. Which is
So,
why I was
What
actually
now?
really excited about like Bitcoin and altcoins. But anyway, that's a different
Okay,
story.
yeah.
Yeah,
August 4th is their Palantir's next earnings report coming out.
yeah. So you got another few weeks to run up, and maybe people get super excited, and maybe they're gonna try to do something, diabolical. Who knows?
I'm sorry, August 5th, Monday, August 5th.
Yeah.
Hey, there's a request to see if we can stream in 1080. Are we not in 1080 right now, or is it just 720?
I don't. I think that might just be a limitation of
The stream thing.
the stream thing.
Yeah. Because my chart may be a little bit tiny for some people.
Um,
Anyway, yeah.
I get
I'll,
he's got to upgrade to an iPad then, huh?
I can't do it from while we're in stream right now, but I'll see if there's any options for bumping up the video capacity.
That's okay. We can figure it out later. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, because everything's gonna look really tiny on
yeah.
it's not 1080,
But we can figure it out later. It's okay.
720 would be the next one. No,
Because I'm also recording. I think I'm probably end up recording in in 1080. I can show that later.
your recording is always beautiful, and then I love it when you do the little bump outs, the little clips and stuff.
To highlight the dumb things that we say.
Yeah. All right. You know
Yeah,
what?
so
Just
NVIDIA.
Yeah, always
yeah,
the big three, and then we'll talk about Bitcoin, and then we'll just go and talk about everything else you guys want to talk about.
that sounds
Oh
good.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Matt, you want to go first? I'm sure you're ready to fire. So
Yeah, I always have these top three charts all
yeah,
good to go.
let's do it.
Let's do it. I found that
Okay,
Zoom's
so
got this annotation tool,
NVIDIA.
so now I can actually, if I'm looking at something on a chart, I can uh, actually do stuff on it. Like this is me drawing a circle. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I think everyone else can.
I can see a circle
You
somewhere.
drew it. You
Yeah,
drew a circle on my chart?
I drew a circle on your chart. On the feed of your chart. Uh,
How did you draw a circle on my chart?
You just draw a circle on the screen.
yeah, I drew a
Yeah.
circle on the Zoom screen.
Oh, okay. I was like, what
Go
the
over on
heck's
the
going
left
on?
side of the Zoom meeting. There's like a little green editing tool that pops up.
It's the vaccines. They put a chip in your head, Matt.
You just hacked my computer. Good God, I gotta hang up. All right, so yeah, NVIDIA. So I got the Bollinger Band pulled up. It is on the inside of it. It was riding it for a little bit, so it has room to go up to like the 137s, maybe 138s. And ultimately, this is my linear scale chart. So that level sits at like 145, 144, 145. So I think that's going to be hit next because of how price is looking so far. And if we take that off, and we can see that support has been basically the conversion line all the way up. It did lose it for like 1 week right there, but then it's been support ever since it broke out, really. So could it come back down and retest it in the future around like 115? Possibly. But the way the momentum is, it looks like the momentum is back and it wants to gravitate a little bit higher and at least towards the top of this wick as well, which currently sits around 140. And we'll go to the log scale chart here. And this is, yeah, that 120 level is looking like support, like 121.75, maybe right around there. There hasn't been a weekly candle close below it. So it looks like that level right there, this big log scale level, is pretty symmetrical with that 45 being important, that arc being important, and now this level is important. And I have that 3.618 fib extension still pulled up from back here from the 2007 high, from the financial crisis, basically. And that is probably going to gravitate, price is probably going to gravitate there first before any major rejection. So what I can really see in the future for NVIDIA is this will be the range. This is probably the new trading range from 160 down to 121. So I think eventually, if this doesn't break at least the 121 level, then price will definitely gravitate towards this 3.618 to the 160.48. And then if that gets flipped, then eventually it'll gravitate to the arcs up here, which could be anywhere from like the 250s, maybe even down to the low 200s, depending on time, and then the top arcs. And then ultimately, the ultimate target is 4.236 before any major correction. And by the time 532 gets hit, then probably there will be a massive correction, like maybe loss of like a couple $100 or so, before price continues higher.
I like how it back tested the horizontal line right there with like a little tweezer bottom just the last couple of weeks.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
really good.
Like it's just so accurate, like, and how it nailed the 45 and that arc.
Yeah. It's a
Like
lot
yeah,
of
you just
confluence.
zoom into that level, like it was exactly that arc and even closed back above the week of that 45. It was just such an obvious bottom there
Yeah.
at that whatever price was pre-split. I don't even remember. But yeah, it
Like
was
like
such an
100,
obvious bottom.
yeah, $100 or something like that. Yeah.
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 Like yeah, this like using GAN is so good to try to time bottoms sometimes, even though because when it was here, it wasn't really a bullish chart anymore because it kept making lower lows, right? But basically, if you were using this plus the confluence of that fib extension 2.272,
Mhm.
you'd be like, yeah, there's so much confluence that you want to buy that. So yeah, using all these indicators together is such a good thing to do to kind of predict where price wants to go. And now I see price going up to 160.
Cool. Well, let me bust in with my chart here. I think
Yeah.
I had this epiphany just now that it's almost as if, Matt, you're working with a Mercator map projection of the world, and I'm still navigating by dead reckoning. My deep water navigation skills aren't, they're the technology
Thomas
is,
Brothers, so using the Thomas Brothers maps.
yeah, it's a little different here. So uh, after pegging out, I just simply said down here, I'll call this my new wave start. The
Mhm.
75, 72 is my wave start. And then this high right here at 140, that candlewick, 140.76 was the wave one. And the wave two bottom was the correction we had right after the split to 115.01. I said, that's a really nice 1-2 right there. And so my lesser degree 1-2, originally I was targeting the 76.4 as always. This other way. But then it did this little wick higher, and then it didn't come down lower. And so I said, this is a daily chart. So yeah, I think yesterday I said, I'm going to move my fibs up, and I changed my target. Actually, it was just this morning. I changed my target to 133.56, and then today, sure enough, we hit 133.82 for the high today. And then now I'm looking for a back test to 127.93. So we're going 100% back to the 618. It could come to the 50% for 126.20, but it doesn't have to. And then now, just like on the Palantir chart, instead of the 1382, I've moved this up to the 1618. So I'm looking for 142.66, then a back test to 137.04 for the 123.6. And then ultimately this is funny. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make this black line. I'm trying to plot the intermediary 5 waves up inside of this larger degree one. For the larger degree one, I'm simply looking for 164.97 for the larger degree wave one top. And so all of these moves are just inside of this smaller or this larger wave one up here. So 164.97, then maybe it comes back to 140, and then on up to the wave, all of wave 3 would be 205.39. This one I think goes to 400. Yeah. No, this one goes to, I have to move this up now because I moved those other ones up. It's got to go to the 2618. I don't even have it on this chart. So if it goes 1618, then it'll end on 2618. So I didn't move this yet. Yeah, and look, now it's on one of your GAN lines. This is yours. No, this might be my GAN line, actually. So yeah, I've got a 290 here for some reason. I think this was something having to do with watching your GAN charts in an earlier broadcast. So yeah, that kind of matches up now. So this large
And that's
degree.
gonna be like the wave 5 of 3,
So
or do
this
you?
will be, this is wave 5 of 3 here to 205. And this is all of, well, yeah. If you look at like a bigger chart, like
Yeah,
when it goes to
yeah.
400,
Because you have
yeah,
another
this would just
circle up
be,
there. Yeah.
yep. And 398. Oh, that's right. So you do remember when we did this?
Yeah.
My NVIDIA bullish AF chart.
Okay.
So yeah, we're expecting. I was a NVIDIA bear down here under about 1,000. Anyway, you guys flip me around on that one.
We
Nope,
always like to flip you.
yep.
Hopefully we flip you correctly. We'll see.
Yeah. I always land on my feet, even though I'm not.
Peer
I'm
pressure
not.
always, yes.
Maybe a little safety shoulder roll.
The
All right,
entire time we're just trying to have you draw elite waves on the way up. That's what we do.
yeah.
Until it's bear market, then but yeah.
All right, back to the Oh yeah, I can see yours, cat.
Yeah, can you see mine? Okay.
Yep, I
Yeah.
can see yours.
All right. So I mean like the basic thing is this is the monthly chart. We have Nvidia. I have the RSI down here pulled up. And you're basically seeing, I don't think the trend is really exhausting yet. I keep showing the same thing. I'm going to give you like an update every week just to bore you because I usually look for Nvidia, it has a very characteristic look. And this won't necessarily work for every single stock. But if you look at the monthly for Nvidia, actually, it might work a little bit for Tesla as well. I'm going to actually go to Tesla here to kind of show you kind of what I mean by that. You look at a Bollinger Band, like the bull market, for Tesla, whenever you have something parabolic up like that, you have a lower Bollinger Band went all the way down to the floor, right? And when do you know when to sell Tesla? Well, probably when the Bollinger Band comes back from the ground, you know, and it just did nothing, right? So over here, when parabolic, right? You look at the lower Bollinger Band went all the way down to like negatives, right? When you decide to sell Tesla, well, when the Bollinger Band comes back, you know. So for something like this exponential, for something this powerful like Nvidia and Tesla, they tend to follow this kind of pattern where if you have a very strong, powerful bull trend, the lower Bollinger Band on a monthly would just go all the way down to the ground. And then when trend actually start to get exhausted is when it comes back, you know. So the same thing's probably happening. You have the Bollinger Band again. Like so far, if you're wondering whether or not the Bollinger Band is like curling up, no, it's still pointing down. Like it's still there's no
Wild.
sign of trend exhaustion yet. You know, I thought it was gonna like I thought it was gonna end up like curving up and be a little bit more exhausted. I thought initially I really thought that over here is going to be very similar to maybe like over here, because you have so many candles that's close above the upper Bollinger Band. You have so many candles close about the upper Bollinger Band. I thought that maybe we're at least like mid-cycle, and maybe things are kind of go cool down sideways while we rotate into maybe small caps or Tesla or something else. There's still a possibility that the next few months going to go sideways, but I don't want to bet against it because so far there's not really any sign for momentum loss. Because we also look at the RSI, like over here, the cycle on a very, very powerful trend up, you can see like the RSI keeps on going up, right? Until the trends start to get exhausted. How we know that the trend start to get exhausted is when price still keeps going up, but the RSI start to cool down, right? So you're basically going up over here from like mid to late cycle. You basically still like 2.5x on bearish divergence. Right? We don't even have bearish divergence yet. Like price is up, RSI is up. Like there's no bearish divergence yet. So it wouldn't surprise me if like we keep on having more candles outside upper Bollinger Band because there's a bull trend and can keep going up. It also wouldn't surprise me if it ends up going sideways here to cool down a little bit because I do feel that we might be a little bit overextended. But who knows? I mean, I'm not going to try to predict. I'm just for Nvidia. I'm just trying to react. I think the worst it can do is just go sideways for a few months and do nothing. And I think the best it can do would be it could keep pushing up. That's what the trend is telling me. I don't see a crash going down to like, 60 or 80 or anything like that that some people worry about. I don't see, like those kind of process. Just because
Yeah.
once you get the bull trend going, it just tends to want to keep going. Another thing too, if you want to look at the Ichimoku, I like to look at it on the monthly. And if you look at the monthly, you also can see the same overextension that you have, right? Is way above the blue lines, way above the conversion line. Usually is when it ways above the conversion line, you can get punished for it. With the exception of like one or two times, which is like right around here during the cycle, it didn't get punished. It just kept going and dragged the blue line up along with it. And with the exception of like over here, it didn't really get punished. It just keeps on going up. Every other time you really kind of get punished for it. Like over here, it just went sideways for like 8 months, right? Over here, it went sideways for like 6 months. So I do think that we might be a little bit overextended, but there's always a possibility of prices keep going up and drag the blue app along with it. But I just wouldn't like count on that. The probability is a little bit on the lower side. So I think maybe sideways, but I'm not gonna like pull out and try to buy something else and chase anything. I'm just gonna like stay in the semiconductor sector and see what it does. So that's all.
Well, I just want to interject this idea that we had 2 Saturdays ago. NVIDIA, they're not selling tulips. They're not making beanie babies. They're actually making something that the world is going to need a lot more of. The farther we go along this path to AI, the more and more chips the world is going to need from NVIDIA.
Yeah.
Until somebody else can make a better chip, but they've got to, just like Tesla's kind of way, way far ahead of full self-driving than any other automaker.
Yeah.
NVIDIA is way, way, way ahead of chip development
Yeah.
than any other chip maker.
I mean,
So,
there's always going to be a cycle, right? Like if things get a little bit too overextended, things are still probably going to end up having a cool down for sentiment because there's a lot of over leverage. But the trend tends to be up because, like you said, the innovation tends to be up over time, right? So even you bought this sideways move over here where it didn't do anything for like 8 months, and then eventually it went up and then it went down and you didn't sell, like if you would have bought around, you know, 2020 and you would just held on to it, right now you'd be like at least like 10x.
yeah.
So it's like 10x in about what, like 4 or 5 years. It's not too shabby, unless if you like over leverage and you end up having a lot of decay or you buy a lot of options, then yeah, then I can't help you. But yeah.
Like you said, it's cyclical, and they're the research and development that uses the AI chips. They're going to get these parts where they have enough chips and they're doing the work, and then they come out of the work. It's like, okay, now we need 10 times as many chips as we have to do the next stage. And so, but between then and between the beginning and end of that, might be a lull and some demand. But then there's
Yeah.
lots and lots of different people all trying to do this research at the same time. So maybe NVIDIA doesn't have a demand problem.
Yeah. Not anytime soon anyway. I think like eventually they're gonna have it, but it's not like it doesn't seem like anytime soon. I like the fact that the beach is like moving.
I know, it's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's real time right there.
You guys want to talk about Matt's favorite class of assets?
Yes, let's do Matt's class of assets.
My classy ass,
Bitcoin.
my
Your
classy assets.
your classy assets.
Yeah.
You don't try to cover it up either.
Whip out them classy assets, Matt.
Yeah, don't worry about that. That little guy, don't worry about that little guy. No. All right, so Bitcoin is, you guys can see, yeah?
Yeah.
Perfect.
You're up.
Yeah.
So yeah, the support of the weekly baseline there for the Ichimoku indicator, it did close the week below it, but it's fighting its way back. And I did make a video about a warning that I think that like kind of this path could be possible where it comes up here now and gets rejected around that 61,300,
Mm-hmm.
and then maybe test the lows again, whether those will hold or not, or will it go back down and test this this orange angle here,
Yeah.
which in time matches that the cloud around August of 2024, right? So
Mhm.
it could take a couple months to get down there, or maybe it won't get down there and just touch like the 53,000 again in time closer towards the election time before price goes higher and higher. So one thing that is good that I did mention in the video is like, oops, on the monthly chart here,
Yeah, I was
we
gonna
can
ask if
see
that
that,
changed your mind. I was gonna ask if that changes your mind right there with the conversion.
yeah,
Yeah.
we can see that.
Changes your mind. I was going to ask if that changes your mind right there with the conversion.
Well, yeah, the video I made is like which is going to be stronger, this monthly support or that weekly like resistance maybe being lost. And probably right now it's the monthly support because the
Yeah.
higher the time frame, the better the support. So
Yeah.
we'll see. But we do see the baseline sits around 44,000. So I mean, if time goes on, possibly the baseline could start going up a little bit more and meet where the 45 or not 45, where this orange angle is. So that still could be a possibility for this conversion to be broken and price to come back down to that 48,000 zone to touch this angle as a support. And just the reason I, sorry, the reason I say that is basically because on the weekly chart, when you look at that angle, it's been very important in the past, right? Just price always consolidated around that angle. Even right here, it was a resistance. So it's never back tested that angle after it broke out. So that is a possibility that things could happen in the future, but it doesn't have to happen here. It could happen way in the future over here sometime. We don't even know, you know? We'll see. But this is just the possibility that I'm thinking that if this doesn't hold on a weekly support, or if that monthly conversion line around 53,900 doesn't hold, then there is a good possibility that this angle and the cloud could get hit within the
Mm-hmm.
next couple of months or so.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the warning. But if we look on this log scale chart, uh, this is the top arc where it was resistance for the all-time high back in 2021, the previous all-time high,
Mm-hmm.
and it's never really back tested that arc either yet. So there's a possibility for price to come down there around the 51,500 or so before price goes higher. But this again is really indicating that it's still bullish no matter what, right? Because when you look at the high time frame, we can see that uh, all these levels like were important. The orange one, the blue one was important. Now the green one's important. And you can see that once it was on like a top side of an arc in the past, the orange one, it finally broke out. And now it's on the top side of this one, right? So it's finally probably going to break out because every arc really had a back test. Even this blue one had a back test, right? So this one could have a back test here before things really break out. And if that happens, it doesn't really matter because the next level does sit around 2 million up here,
Woo.
which I said last time could be by like 2033 for Bitcoin. So the symmetry is there. Like I know, Kat, you were saying if it goes down to the low 50s or the high 40s, then that's kind of changes your narrative. But when you look at this Gann chart, we can see that it's really normal to backtest the arcs all the time, right? And
Yeah.
it's happened every cycle before. So it hasn't done it yet. So there could be more pain before there's glory, right? So basically, yeah, this is a possibility, but it doesn't change really my thesis only because when I'm looking at this, it would just be normal. It would be normal to go back down to the low 50s
Mm-hmm.
because it would just confirm that as a support before things break out higher and higher. So that's my thought process. And like overall, high time frame still bullish. Just short term, it could go down to the 48s or maybe just the 51s, right down
Mm-hmm.
to this area. But if it goes to the 51, it probably would wick through to go down to the 48 before price went up. So that's my thought.
The weekly chart doing a little bit of a trick there off the monthly charts done.
Yeah.
A little
Do
bit
do
of
you have
You want to
last
share yours?
last couple
yeah, do you
thousand
have something to
dollars.
share, Tracker?
Yeah, sure. Let's see.
Yeah.
Is here we go. Busted in. Hi. All right. So here is my Bitcoin chart, and I was looking for price to stay inside of this tracker's triangle, and it did not. It went below here. But then I was thinking I showed you guys a chart where I think, well, maybe this could be just an overthrow on this side before it
Mhm.
runs up to my next target of
Yeah.
110,000.
You mentioned that like around 54,000.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
let me go to a smaller time scale. Actually, let's do the so underneath this tracker's triangle up here, it's made a new triangle under here, and this is also a bullish triangle. So maybe if it decides to stop pussyfooting around in here, it could break back up into the larger triangle, then cross through to the top side. Um, So let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it's not ready to break out yet. It made a trend. I was messing around with this earlier today. This is why these are kind of off. This is sort of our 1, 2. Now this is all of 3, and it invalidates that touch. We get one more move down, and then it can break out. So I was looking at this idea, maybe it comes to test the top of this Ichimoku cloud here in the 4-hour chart. So maybe we get one more touch to 5860, and it sort of forms this rising wedge that reverses the price back up. Just need to see it maybe do up here, then go down there, and then get bust out. So yeah, maybe, and then usually when it comes down, it'll break this trend. So, maybe 54, I'm sorry, wait. Yeah, maybe about 55,000-ish, 55, depending on how long it takes. If it takes this long, it doesn't have to go as low to break the trend. So the longer it hangs out in here, the lower this would be. If it did, I put out in here a worst case scenario that maybe it probably wouldn't even be this bad. Let me go back to the weekly chart. This is where I was looking at this for the worst case scenario.
Well, that's
A
pretty
lot of
bad.
times,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
that's pretty bad.
A lot of times I follow this moving average
Yeah.
75, and it looks like it want to kind of is heading for
Yeah.
this shelf of the Ichimoku cloud here.
Yeah.
But maybe after seeing Matt's chart, if it did fall even lower, maybe instead it would just fall this moving average 50 to about this 57.69 for a back test to the 123.6 fib.
Yeah.
I'm just going to change this right now because that worst case scenario was really awful. 57.69. There, I just changed my, changed my mind about it. But yeah,
Yeah.
I still see it's bouncing around inside this little triangle. So maybe this could just be an Elliott wave overthrow, and then it comes up to the other side. They're rare, but they do happen. Breaks the triangle, but then it just reverses the trend. I think about it was that's all I've got to talk about.
Okay.
That.
Yeah. I can pull up mine.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah. Let me know when you guys see it.
Wait, I'll probably if I hit this. Yes, I can see you.
Yeah. So instead of this is a monthly chart of Bitcoin. Instead of looking at the Ichimoku cloud, I'm just putting up the Super Ichi cloud, which is a little bit of derivative of the Ichimoku. It's a little bit more like fast. I think it's a little bit tighter. Basically, what you're really seeing here is you have every single time when you like in the beginning of like a really bullish cycle, you have bullish cross, right? Like the conversion breaking above the baseline. Conversion is blue, baseline is red. And when that happens, generally what happens over the last two cycles, and it looks like it might be happening now as well, you have a big run up that causes the bullish cross. And then after the bullish cross, pretty much like really close within like 1 to 3 months or so, you're gonna have some sideways consolidation. They can last anywhere for like, 5, 6 months over here in this cycle. Over here it lasted for about like a whole year. Like, and this is like the COVID wick, but even before we had like the COVID wick, you already see this is kind of like a little bit like a dead Cantonese bounce, if you will. It looks like it was going to fall over to the floor anyway, but kind of like over here is kind of bouncing, and just falling near the floor, right? So I would argue I wonder whether or not this is like planned by the whales, but who knows? You have a bullish cross over here, but it never really had a bearish cross, even with the COVID wick, which is quite fascinating. That's what super trend can do for you, I guess. You have once a bullish cross happened, like this lasted for like more than a year, going sideways before going crazy up, right? So what's happening now? We have this, pretty nice parabolic bull trend up, and it caused a bullish cross. And right now we've just gone sideways for about 6 months. This is not atypical behavior. And normally when you go up, you're going to try to back test the blue line, the Tenkan or the conversion line, and it's not atypical for it to fall underneath to get close to the Kijun. The Kijun or the baseline is going to be around like 52,675. Right. And over here, it looks like one of the like tap, it just never really quite got there. Over here, it looks like it kind of really broke through underneath of it and grabbed liquidity and just went back up, right? So here, I agree with you. I think the market structure still looks like it's very, very similar to previous. So looking at this, I don't think there's anything to really necessarily worry about per se. But and also if you look at I was always pulling up like the Boomerang support band, right? And right now price is kind of falling underneath the Boomerang support band, but it has price fallen underneath the Boomerang support band before, kind of like this. Yeah, maybe a couple times over here during this like year-long sideways. Over here, you really mostly just have wicks. Like this cycle over here is really nicely respecting the Boomerang support band. So who knows? I think right now we might be getting a little bit of mixture between like the last two cycles where I don't think necessarily going to have like a flush like COVID all the way down like that. But I wonder whether or not it still maintains its bullish structure, but it's still, just kind of freaking everybody out here a little bit. One thing too is if you pull up the Bollinger Band, you know, there are really only like, to me, because this still look like a bullish structure, the most two likely scenario when price is at the Bollinger support band was either it found support over here and go up, or it bounced to the lower Bollinger Band and it go up. Like to me, I think those are the two most likely scenario for an overall bull trend because that's what happened over here, right? Like you have the same very similar morphology, back tested the bonus support band, went back above, unable to find momentum, ended up crushing underneath, and they found support really close to the lower Bollinger Band, and it just took a few weeks and just kind of go up, right? So I wonder whether or not we're seeing something very similar here. Now, if you're talking about price going all the way down to like the 48,000, I have a hard time seeing it happening right away. I can potentially see that maybe if you're talking about that, then there's going to be a lot more pain for Bitcoin to really kind of go and like expand the Bollinger Band to allow price to go down to 48,000, you know, or even 51,000. I think it's going to take some time. Like, I don't think it's necessarily going to happen right away.
It's oversold on your Bollinger Band there.
Yeah, it does, but I mean, like things are oversold, but but it's still the RSI is still trying to get back to like 50. So overall, it's still not that shabby, in terms of this being relatively still, having a bullish market structure. So I'm not sure. Like, it looks like it wants to kind of find support here in the lower Bollinger Band. Look at the previous cycles. Even if price wanted to go down here, it doesn't go down right away, right? It bounce, bounce, and bounce, right? So I don't know. I mean, I just don't know if it's going to necessarily happen. Like over here, this bull trend before that, it just never really hit the lower Bollinger Band, which is absolutely insane. So I wonder whether or not the cycle may be a little bit longer. But right now, you also depends on how the week closed, right? But right now, you also have a little bit like a tweezer bottom look over here, which is leaning a little bit more bullish. Although it can certainly go back and back test the Bollinger support band, get rejected, and make the next move down, right? That's also entirely possible. But I'm just not sure whether or not that's going to happen based on looking at the monthly, looking at the higher time frame. So one other thing I do want to show, which is a little bit more leaning bearish, and yes, I'm a Bitcoin bear. No, not really. Is that you actually, if you look at there's a Turtle Plus, Turtle Pro Plus, what do you call that indicator? Is proprietary. I have it, but basically you have unfortunately have a sell signal over here. And this sell signal actually has been relatively accurate if you look at the past. I wonder whether or not this sell,
Whoa.
yeah, I wonder whether or not the sell signal over here is kind of equivalent to like this over here. And I'm not sure we're not going to have the COVID wick down like that. But I wonder whether or not the sell signal is going to be equivalent to over here or over here. Over here, like you can see the sell signal, like the price really got really close to, like really, it really punched through the EMA ribbon. And it got really kind of like an exhausted look to it. They tried to break above it, they just couldn't, and it just ended up plummeting down, right? Over here is a little bit different. It looks like you just have like a start of a bull market, which is kind of how we're looking right now. And it kind of dropped down and it broke through the EMA ribbon. But this EMA ribbon also was not as mature as this one over here, right? So I can make an argument that I think right now it's probably going to be somewhere like maybe in between, um, something like this versus something like that. And I think it's probably going to end up bouncing higher, but I do worry a little bit about like losing momentum. So Bitcoin better if it drops down to like 48, you're talking about really losing a lot of momentum like it did over here, like it did over here, like it did over here. So there is a little bit of a worry that I have, but the trend, I suppose, is still overall still bullish, but I would be a little bit more worried about it, to be completely honest with you. Do I think that this is going to be something that I'm really truly worried about? Probably not, because, if I look at the US M2 dollar supply, it's clearly reversing trend, and quantitative tightening is definitely over, and we're starting to have increase in liquidity being injected. So if that's the case, I really have a
Yeah.
hard time seeing Bitcoin going that much lower. But anyway, that's kind of what I'm seeing. I still stick with a high time frame though, because I still want to maintain bullish at support, and right now, if you look at Ichimoku Cloud, a rising Tenkan is nothing to sneeze at. A rising Cajun, the rising Tenkan is nothing to sneeze at. As a rising conversion line is something to sneeze at, like over here, back tested, found support, and it just went up like crazy, right? A rising 10 can rising conversion line is nothing to sneeze at over here. So
Yeah.
yeah, I maintain
Especially that
bullish.
bullish cross too.
Yeah, the bullish cross over here. So it's like still early mid bull market behavior, and I can keep going on like how I think like altcoin season might be ongoing, things like that, and that's why I don't think Bitcoin's that bearish. But anyway, I'm
It's a
gonna
bullish
relinquish
wedge
my
down.
yeah, I'm gonna relinquish my control because I felt like I talked too much. But Matt,
Talk
Yeah.
just enough.
you are going to do your speed run, I think. That's what we
I'm gonna
usually
do
do.
my speed run. The Jim Cramer lightning round? No.
Oh my Bye, bye, bye. So.
Wow, you've been holding that
Yes.
for a while then, haven't you?
Yeah. Anyways, no, I'm gonna show my others chart here
Yeah, the
for
others
the
chart looked
week.
really good. I just the fact that it's just bounced from like the weekly cloud right on money. It's promising.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna take off the cloud here real quick
Right, you're up and running. We
for
can see you.
everybody. Yeah. So just looking at the GAN on linear scale alone, uh, we can see that it almost came back down to the arc here, where the arc used to be resistance right here, and it's never back tested it before, and now it's going back towards there. So I could see this angle getting rejected again, and then maybe price coming down to retest it. I could see that happening, so that would be another scare for people and people would freak out. But yeah, the others excluding the top 10. So that is one possibility. Or another possibility is this week can continue back up. But as you can see, the past couple of weeks, since it broke below this orange line, it has not been able to close candles above. So that 233, 234 billion mark for the others chart is probably going to be some resistance regardless. So like everything I'm looking at on Bitcoin or others or just individual coins alone, it's just looking like a lot more time. So it's kind of like a mini bear within the bull market. And who knows how long this is gonna last, but it could be maybe right around like election time is where a lot of charts are pointing to. Not really this chart in particular, but in other individual charts there they are. And when we go to the log scale version of that chart where I have the Bollinger Band on it, we can see that it is at kind of support for the Bollinger Band, and it already successfully backtested that blue arc on log scale. So let me just take off all these indicators as well
Yeah,
right
it's
here.
beautiful. It's like absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, so it almost came back down to that blue level too. So that's why I could see it come down to that lower level, like the 275 billion mark or so, to actually finally retest it again because it kind of missed it last week. It just missed it just a little bit. So I can still see more consolidation, but here is what I'm looking for is this where everything meets, like this angle
Mhm.
meets. the arc meets, the line meets. Like right here is like April of 2025. So I'm thinking things can just move down to sideways until all of these confluences meet here in time in like the springtime of next year. And that's where maybe the altcoin season could maybe start by then, because then after that, everything will be exhausted. Like there will be nothing overbought anymore. Everybody will be fearful that everything's going to collapse by that time. So then it'll probably have time to finally move up and up and up. And eventually the target just for the others could be like around 14 trillion. And that's excluding Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, all the stable coins and stuff like that. So that would be a pretty huge market cap for some of the altcoins there. But this chart is very symmetrical, very beautiful. And this angle right here has never been touched ever in life. So, oh no, it has right here. Never since 2016, right? So, but you can see in
Yeah.
2016 how important that angle is, right?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was a resistance,
Yeah.
a support,
Yeah.
and it's never back tested it as a support again or since 2016. So I can see this huge confluence of time right here before any major breakout. So it's going to be about another like what 8, 9 months or something before anything exciting happens in altcoins based off of this chart alone is what I'm looking at.
I think there are I guess two arguments against necessarily having pushed all the way out to like beyond to like election time. One is, I mean, you're actually right at the arc right there. There's a possibility that it just bounces off the arc and just keep going higher, you know. The
Yes,
other
that is a
is,
possibility too.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you're at support still, you know. It's a pretty important support. It's nothing to sneeze at because you also got you got rejected right there on the arc, and now you're really flipping into support, and you tested it twice, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
But
the
I could really just, I could see something like this happen, just
yeah,
come up here, here,
yeah,
like that for a long time. And then
sure,
people get bored with everything and
yeah,
then just,
yeah.
you
It's
know,
possible.
something
I
like that.
mean, I feel like
Yeah.
people are already bored, so but yeah, it's
Yeah,
possible.
they are.
Yeah. The other thing is the return on the Ichimoku cloud again on the weekly. Just yeah. If you're talking about price going that far down down the road, you're really talking about breaking underneath the cloud, which is like, you know.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean it's
Like
not
if
the
you
end all
look
be
in
all,
time
but
too,
yeah, it's not the end all be
yeah,
all.
it happened here before, right?
Yeah.
But it was right around the support of again arc or Fibonacci arc, you know, right around
Yeah.
here before it broke back above. Then COVID happened and then came back up. Yeah. So
Yeah.
basically, yeah, it could come below, but you're right. Like there's a lot of confluence here that this support should hold. There's the cloud,
Yeah.
there's that blue level, there's the arc, right? So there is some confluence that price should come up here, but then there's going to be met with more resistance of
Yeah.
the baseline and conversion line as well before price moves higher.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Who knows? I mean, like it's always nice to, you know, when it's at support, you know. But anyway, one more thing I want to ask you to show is the volume. Um, and it's very, very interesting that last week when everyone was freaking out, look at how low the volume was.
Oh, well, yeah, but this
Yeah.
volume is actually this
Yeah,
week volume is
exactly.
pretty high
Exactly. It's
compared.
only been like a couple of days. I don't know
Yeah,
if any, yeah,
there's
if
a.
anybody can see through the America symbol, it's
I don't know why is that America symbol there? I don't understand.
because yeah, I don't know, it's like forfeit. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, look at how low the volume was on that down test on the horizontal and on the
Yeah,
Ichimoku
that's
cloud. It was
true.
really low volume. And look at
And
how
now
big
just a
volume
couple
this
days
is.
into this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, if this keeps up, it could be like above even this candle here.
Yeah, yeah, it's
So
something to think
yeah,
about, you know. And the entire downtrend is on declining volume too. So that would be my argument that I think we're bored enough. There's enough fear that I think we might bounce from here, but who knows?
yeah. Well, we could bounce from here, but then just get rejected by these indicators of the Ichimoku right there.
Possible,
So
possible. Yeah,
yeah.
we'll see. Yeah.
Or it could just pull a Tesla and not care about resistance. So yeah.
Tesla don't care about no resistance.
Resistance is what is that? Somebody
Yeah.
was asking about GME, so I can just pull it up real quick.
Yeah, I want you to show the I want you guys to look at the daily Bollinger Band of GME. I don't know if you saw my video yet or not, but if you haven't, look
Not
at the
yet,
daily
but
Bollinger Band of GME. It's like
I
ridiculous.
will.
Look, your angle is ridiculous too.
Yeah, it's holding us support nicely. So essentially, there's no change. There's no change at all. This is support, and these little conversion baseline stuff is going to be resistance eventually if price continues to go higher. But yeah, this is support until proven otherwise. Now let's go to your daily BB.
The daily
Well, I
BB.
typed in B.
Not 1B. What is 1B?
You know,
One
you
baby
know what
chart.
1B means.
One baby chart. Look at
Oh
that.
yeah, it's got that squeeze. It's right at the sphincter right there. It just wants to explode.
The only thing I get a little worried, yeah, is underneath the 20-day, and it's also like maybe I guess it got a little bit about the conversion now, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's a daily chart, so like these indicators may not work that well, but it's squeezing hard,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, it's really doing nothing. It's still the support is this angle, so that's all you got to worry about until that's broken. Really.
Yeah, but look at the volume. There's like no volume at all.
Oh yeah, there's no volume at all either. Yeah.
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 So,
So yeah, about $23. That's support right now. So if that
yeah.
23 gets broken on a weekly close, then possibly it'll go back down to the 19s. But support is support until proof it's not.
Yeah. If it doesn't break down, then where do you think it's gonna go?
It'll go back up to the conversion baseline right here.
Yeah.
And then if that doesn't if that holds it down, then I'll come back down and retest stuff. But before that, you got this resistance of the Bollinger Band right there around
Yeah.
$30.
Around 30.
So
Yeah.
that could add some resistance.
Yeah.
But yeah, do we have more time for other things, or do you got to go? Or you want to go till 9 o'clock?
I think we can Trekker, what do you think?
Well, we were going to try to hold it a little. I'm sorry. I guess we talked about Tesla a long time today. I thought we
No,
tried to keep to an hour, but
we're way beyond that.
yeah, we're past that.
You
We just
want to
have too
talk
much
Well,
about
it's
time.
not
you
going
want
to
to
be
talk about a
too.
couple
It's
you
We can
want to
talk
talk
about
about a couple
Ethereum, I
of
guess.
miners too, right? I think Trekker, you
Oh,
were
miners.
saying you're interested in like
Okay.
Just show us
um
let's look at the Bitfarms and CleanSpark. Yeah, indulge me.
Okay. So I'll just use the log scale charts because I like these on here. So yeah, Bitfarms is right at a major support level. I would not be fearful in this zone at all. You got lots of confluence of the conversion baseline angle, top of the cloud, top of the arc, just a lot of things in this area. So that
okay,
is this is in a buy zone really, in my
yeah.
opinion.
Let's just go into
And it's
$5
above
then.
the yeah.
Yeah.
Eventually that'll be the target 5 or even 7. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
So
So
that
we have
is
to.
bullish and CleanSpark. Yeah, it's close. It's below the baseline right now, but the week's not over yet, and it hasn't really closed a candle below it for a long time. So, uh, essentially, why I said $13 is because that's the level right there, 1367 for
Yeah.
CleanSpark. And let me just clean this up a little bit so we can see it better. We can see it did retest it already once there,
Yeah.
but we can look in the past, look at how important that blue level is all the way across. So yeah, that's the ultimate support. So I mean, if price does collapse here, it's going to go to 1350, 1370, somewhere
Mhm.
around there, which I think would be a place to like double down, in my opinion, for a
Mhm.
continuation higher to the ARCs. And the next level does sit here around $51 or so. So that is a possibility for that. But I
Yeah.
Okay.
think if I may, do you have a question?
I know. I say it does look like it's building a base right there.
Yeah, it's like a giant bull
Yeah.
flag too, really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's amazing blue flag. Yeah. I do if you would indulge me and do a CLSK over BTC USD on the monthly and with Ichimoku. I feel like I'm going to a restaurant ordering things. Yeah.
You want fries with that?
On the yeah
I have
on the
my
monthly
Bitstamp
on the
chart.
monthly you love Bitstamp because it has most history apparently. Pull out the
Yes,
monthly
yes.
and then go to Ichimoku. Yeah, without olives.
Without olives, you want unlimited breadsticks too?
I,
Olive Garden.
look at that. Like it's been outperforming Bitcoin and it looks like it wants to keep outperforming Bitcoin.
Yeah. Well, I'm
Yeah,
curious about
like look at
Mara
how
now.
nice. Yeah,
Oh, you want me to go back there?
No, it's fine. Yeah.
All right.
Look, yeah, I just wanted to like look how
Yeah.
nice that was. You know, that was also a bull flag. So I think there's a potential for CleanSpark to also outperform Bitcoin moving forward once it breaks out.
Yeah. And even Mara here with the monthly baseline is at 1860. The angles right there. This is basically at support too. But
Yeah.
I'm curious about Mara and Bitcoin. No.
It's just kind of been oscillating sideways for like a year, like to be honest. Sorry for the spoiler. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I just love the way
It's
Pat looks at these things.
I I remember these things. Yeah, it's just done nothing.
yeah.
But it's pretty good
Yeah,
correlate to
it's
Bitcoin.
yeah. And even when you look at Mara on the linear scale here, I think I like it even more on the linear scale. Let's see with the Ichimoku. Yeah, like basically there is that confluence of the conversion line, but the week's not over yet. It is below it, but there's a lot of confluence with this angle right here and the bottom of the cloud.
Yeah.
Like if price did get down to the 18s,
Mhm.
I think that'll be awesome support. But will it get there? I don't know, because when you turn on the SMAs, it's right at the 200 week moving
Yeah.
average right now. So this,
Yeah.
like I mentioned, I think yesterday, I think $19. This zone could be all it gets, right?
Yeah.
Because it's been making a series of higher lows ever since. So yeah, both CLSK and Mara and everything except for Riot. I don't like Riot at all. It's like the worst one of everything. Like it's below
Yeah.
literally everything.
It's unfortunate. It's underneath the angle. It's not, yeah, it's not. Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody requested
And B
BTBT.
yeah, BTBT.
BitDigital.
It's not a
Not
crypto.
not found. Yeah, it's not a crypto. Not short sell volume.
It's a minor.
Yeah. Yeah. You have a GAN there
Bit
too. Nice.
digital.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the linear again. So it's above that angle again. It closed above it last week, and now it's going back to retest it really. So um I don't know if that'll hold because we'll see. Like usually one candle up with the top of the cloud could be a rejection. Plus you see this massive rejection here. So we could come back down to retest the bottom of the cloud there before price can continue. So we'll keep an eye on that. But I like it more in this range in the lower threes than I do like it in the mid threes right now.
I think that's
That's
fair. If you switch to the monthly, you can see it more clearly with the conversion and base. Like it's stuck in a range right now between the
oh yeah.
conversion line and baseline. Like it's just right
Yeah.
side low. Getting rejected.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So lower threes is way better than the mid threes is what I'm
Yeah.
thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. And it might still end up consolidating underneath the conversion there for a little bit.
Yep.
But it's looking
Exactly.
better.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
they're all looking better except for
Yeah.
Riot. Riot looks
Yeah.
terrible compared to them all, right?
It's
Like everything
sad.
else looks good.
It's
Yeah.
sad. I don't know why, but it's sad.
But yeah, people were talking about rotating like others, like all the winners into Riot. I'm like, why the heck do you want to do that? You don't want to rotate winners to losers, you know?
Yeah,
Don't want to do
I
that at all.
wouldn't get into Riot. I mean, granted, like things can change in a hurry, but it really has to prove itself because it really hasn't done that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe if Riot pulls a HUD or something, you know, but who knows? I mean, it doesn't seem like
Yeah, who
it's
knows?
going to yet.
No.
Woo! Man, we gone
So
through a
that's
lot.
it.
I guess so, yeah. I mean, I think we got through a lot. Tracker, anything else you want to show? Anything cool?
I no, I think that's it for tonight. We can wrap this up. I'll have something
I
cool
could
for you
show the
guys
Ethereum real quick if
next week.
you want.
Okay. Ethereum.
Yeah, let's just do Ethereum real quick, just because I want to show you how well it held this symmetry on this chart,
Yeah.
regardless of breaking the support of the baseline right there.
Yeah.
I just want to show you this before we go. Like
Oh wait, I just remembered
this is
there
the
was one
linear.
other I was going to show. We'll do EOSE after this, and then we'll end
Oh
the
yeah,
night.
USC, and
Oh
then
yeah,
we'll call it a
EOSE.
night. Yeah, USC, and then we'll call it a night. Yep.
So yeah, this Ethereum chart is so symmetrical. Look how important that 45 is, and now it's just right back there. And after it was resistance here back in January, it's finally testing it as support. So it could go a little bit lower, but the Ethereum is like pointing that this bearishness is really almost over, as long as this angle holds. But it looks like it's going to just because going back in time, even back here
Yeah.
in what 2018, it was important as well. So this angle is super important, and this could be a signal for an altcoin bottom right here,
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I
Ethereum.
think you're
So
right.
that's all.
I have something I want to order if that's okay.
Okay, yeah. A monthly chart.
The 2 week chart Ichimoku cloud.
Oh, the 2 week, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the 2 week chart Ichimoku cloud.
Ichimoku. Ooh, sexy.
Isn't it sexy?
Just
Yeah,
one look.
hit the baseline and the
Yeah.
top of the cloud.
Yeah.
Nice.
Isn't it
Yeah, it's
beautiful?
more
Yeah.
confluence.
Yeah. And if we end up closing above the green candle like 4 weeks ago, then we have a rising three, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But anyway,
Cool, cool,
that's all I have
cool,
to
cool.
order.
All right, EOSE. We're not doing the 2 week chart. though. Oh,
Oh,
but the
come
2 week chart
on.
is above the conversion line. Oh yeah.
It's beautiful. Like sometimes you see better. Like for Tesla, I saw a much better picture with 2 week. Once I had access
Yeah,
to it, but yeah, you
but the
never
weekly
know.
chart is showing it's showing at resistance right now on the
Yeah.
weekly chart. But let's go back to that 2 week. I'm kind of curious.
But it did have a bullish cross on the weekly.
Yeah. So yeah, the 2 week is finally above the conversion line, which it hasn't been since August of
Yeah,
2023. So yeah,
resistance
there could
flip
be some room to
support.
go up.
Yeah, resistance
Could be
flip
room to go up
support.
here.
Possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Do I have a
the
low?
weekly
Oh,
doesn't look too great. Yeah, it could get rejected from the bottom of the cloud and can backtest um the conversion
yeah.
underneath. So
Yeah,
oh,
so
you did
this
again. Nice.
yeah, but it's not really good because
Yeah.
like it's really stretched out like just because the bottom was really recently, so it's not really reliable, but the GAN is showing that this is the first level
Yeah.
290, 280, which is kind of lining up that 2 week baseline around the same price, so like
Yeah, and
280
guess what
or
my
so.
my next target is?
What?
After this touchback that we had to 178, it's 291.
Yeah,
That's
and that's
my 2382
basically where
target.
the GAN, yeah, it's kind of where
Yeah.
that first level sits. So I think that could be the target, but like it hasn't even come back down to retest the very first angle here, right? And this is the 45-degree angle way down here. Yeah, it doesn't look like it, but when you expand it to the scale that it's supposed to be, it is 45.
It's way
So
underneath. Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe it'll hit that eventually,
So
but yeah.
yeah, like I can't really rely on the GAN here just because it just recently had a local bottom
Yeah.
and our all-time low back in May of 2024. So you can't really rely on it. But the other indicators are showing that it's at a temporary resistance, could come back down to maybe $1.30-ish, and then maybe bring its way back up to 290-ish. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's
I,
what I'm seeing.
I'm a little bit more bearish short term because if you put the Bollinger Band on the weekly, like it's way outside and it's also right underneath the Ichimoku cloud on the weekly as well. So you're basically saying, yeah, things look a little bit exhausted and you're at resistance, you know. So it wouldn't
Yeah,
surprise me if
I,
it comes back down before going up
yeah,
higher.
I wouldn't buy here personally just because of these confluences of resistance. Yeah,
Yeah.
but retail likes to chase candles, so we'll see what happens.
Let me
Yeah.
show you my retail chasing chart here.
Okay, I'll stop.
So yeah, I did a off of this all-time low of 61 cents. You can see I kind of did some GAN fans here. Restart here. But off this low, actually, I have to pull this up. No, that's a long. Oh, no wonder it's long.
Oh
Yeah,
man, well,
from
I do want to
61.
also
Oh, go ahead.
add that the monthly is also reclaiming the conversion as well.
Oh, on EOS.
On EOS, yeah, it's also
Yeah.
reclaiming the conversion, but there's no bullish cross, so it's hard to say.
But from the
Oh yeah, and
61
it's also on
cent,
the monthly. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
going above the Bollinger Band 20 week.
Yeah, it's looking not bad, but I'm still not convinced, guys. I'm still not convinced.
well, I gotta tell you,
Short-term resistance, long-term gains.
That's right.
so from the 61 cent low to the 143 wick up here, and then back down to 96 cents.
Hmm.
For the wave two bottom, my minor degree wave one was 147, followed by test back to 115. Then I was looking, since there's a 618236, I was actually looking for the 1236, but we got more than that. So it kind of morphed from a 618236 to 1236 into a 1382. And so after we got more than 1236, I said, okay, it's going to hit 209, and we got 208. And then I said after 209, it's going to come back to 178, and we got 176 today. No, wait, that's 178. 170. Oh, what am I looking at? So
That's
I think after hours, I must have hit 178. It was like a
yeah.
little earlier, higher than that. Then it went back up higher. And so my next target, after hitting 1382 and then backtesting to 100%, is the 2382. So if 178 continues to hold, 291 is my target next. And it hit these two really nicely. I'm thinking of wave two was pretty short though. So this wave four could take a while to build a base to move up higher.
Hmm.
So expect it to maybe hang around this one. I had a buy where like this early this morning, like 6 a.m. I just hit like a bunch of buy hours for like 5,000, 5,000, 5,000. I got
Hmm.
15,000 shares at exactly 179 this morning after the market opened. And yeah, I'm looking for get $1 a share out of them from there to here. But it might take a while. Like I said, it might extend this wave four out for a bit to build that base before it does finally go up higher. That's what I've got. That's what I've got for USE. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, you should draw your Elite Wave before it got rejected at the 2.09. Yeah, I'm just wondering because that's like right at the cloud resistance on a weekly. So
Oh, let me
ooh,
right, this is my one that's got the clouds and
not the other stuff.
not the other
Yeah,
stuff.
like yeah, it's like right underneath. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yep.
Yeah, and then after it gets up to 291, it should do something kind of like this, but then this will form larger degree one, two, and then this will just kind of keep building up higher. I
Yeah.
had something sort of built up here, but I kind of discarded it since it changed flavor from the
Hmm.
618 to the 76. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm bullish on USE, and I've got a bunch of my, the story is that they had a Department of Energy grant, a big amount of money that they couldn't get until their first production line came online, and it just came online like a couple weeks ago.
Hmm.
That's why the volumes come in because they're actually making the batteries now,
Hmm.
shipping them out. So they're actually doing it's not, what they might do in the future, it's what they are starting to do now.
Yeah.
They'll have some sales numbers and stuff like that. And future earnings, looks like the next earnings is coming up August 7th. All right. That's all I
Yeah.
got for USE.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm happy as always. Thank
Are you
you
guys doing
for
the Friday morning thing with A as well or no?
Yeah,
I mean I don't know
well,
because
you got to
I'm
practice
working
too. Yeah, you're working.
because I
Just
might
do it on
break.
the
Yeah.
do it at work.
I'm going to come in. I'll come give it a shot.
Yeah, I'll come
Yeah,
in
I mean
too because
we'll
it was like
see. I
seems like
mean
fun.
like yeah, we'll see. But he's got a very interesting space, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like my world is colliding because like sometimes I go over there and like but now I got like our group and next thing you know everybody's just like mixing together, which is kind of fun actually.
Yeah, it's super fun. I love it.
The
Yeah.
worlds are colliding, Jerry. Worlds are colliding.
George Costanza. Yeah.
Love the Seinfeld.
Yeah. No, we like this. Keep it nice and short instead of an hour and a half. I don't think it's bad. So I guess we're calling it
Yeah,
a night,
starting at
guys.
7:30 is fine too. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we're calling it a night. So
Thank you guys all
Have
for
a good one,
coming
guys.
and indulging us. And if nothing else, we just have a fun time hanging out with each other.
yeah,
Yeah, thank you.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for hosting.
You're welcome. All right. Until next week.